From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
Welcome to Sunny Side Up. I'm Chris Budas, joined here with Tom McManus.
What's up,
Good to
Chris?
see you. Spinner.
Side Up, baby.
Good to see you.
Man. Thank you.
Tom, how you doing?
Yeah.
So flipping the script, Tom's going to take a break. I'm going to come on this side of the bar. Spinner, thanks for coming.
All the way from Australia, my mate here. Yeah.
Amazing show. I mean, you pull people in from all over the place.
Me and
So,
Spinner go way back.
yeah.
Tommy's light's bigger than Batman. You see it?
That's awesome. So we were talking off camera. We're going to talk about, we're all business owners in some capacity.
Yep.
Biggest challenge and advice, and then biggest success.
Yeah, that's a great question. Because we're all probably different, right? Different businesses that we do. You know, in my business, marketing and promoting and building brands and that type of thing. I think the best success is, I mean, look, I created Team Tommy Mac a few years ago.
Yeah.
Most of the customers, the clients, they've never left.
That's
so
huge.
that means a lot.
Yeah,
you know, they see the value.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. You know, I think that the challenging is it's just a grind. You gotta, but I love it, right? So I'm not complaining, but it is a grind, right? So what do? I wake up and I'm thinking about how I'm going to market this show, the show we're on, how I'm going to market the other shows, how I'm going to, market Team Tommy Mac, how am I going to expose, how much personal stuff do I want to show, And LinkedIn is different from Facebook, is different from Twitter or X, Instagram. They're all a little bit different. So, I think it's just a matter of, you're really better, if you're going to do what I'm doing, like content creation and all that kind of, you just got to love what you do.
Are you seeing, a lot of these companies you're advising, you see folks not spending enough time thinking about that brand, they're thinking about,
They don't think enough about marketing. I think, at least from my experiences, a lot of small businesses, that's the one thing that they either struggle with or they just don't pay enough attention to. Yeah. My whole feeling is this, look, you got to let people know who you are, where you are, what you are. What you spend and what you get out of it is what you should really concentrate on, right? So that some things are expensive. You're going to be on TV, it's expensive. If you're going to be on some radio, it's expensive. Some podcasts, not so much. But you got to know what you're going to get out of that and what you expect out of that. So if that communication is clear, it can work beautifully.
That's awesome.
Does it make sense?
Makes absolutely, for sure. Spinner, you've done a lot of things.
Yeah, look, I've had an interesting run, I guess. But for me, the two things that stand out is that you cannot do it all. People that go into business for themselves, right? They're good at something that attracts them to what they want to do. And I'll use an analogy. So someone that wants to run a restaurant, they usually are passionate about food. They may be good at cooking. They mean, I'm going to have a restaurant. I'm going to have a cafe. I love it. And then all of a sudden they realize, I'm good at that, but it's a small business. Well, I got to market. I got a budget. I got to do my finances. All this stuff. But they're also someone who has the gumption, that drive inside them to start a small business. Generally will micromanage because they think it's mine. It's my baby. My hands are out. I got to. I have to. And it's
I'm unmicromanageable for the record.
It is. Look, it's hard for them to let go and admit
and delegate.
I'm gonna hire someone, whether it's a direct employee or I'm gonna hire a business to help me with the bits that I'm not good at. I will do what I'm good at and do it really well. If you've gone through the process of trusting through that hiring process, if you've invested in that process, trust that person. Don't micromanage them. You hired them for a reason. Let them do what you hired to do well.
With though the communication of this is how you want it done.
Of course,
but using their expertise. You got to put that ego aside, let their expertise. But you also have an idea, right? You have an idea. We're doing a general contract. You have an idea of how you want things run.
Well, you have to have a blueprint.
You have to have the blueprint.
You have to start with a plan, and then you got to build a good foundation on that. And then you got to, like you said, you got to delegate responsibilities to people. You can't. I mean, I wear my estimating hat. Take that off. Get the project. Put my project manager hat off. Go meet with a public works person. Put my president's hat on. Go back. So you have to wear a lot of hats, but you got to also be able to delegate and you got to manage, but not micromanage.
That's right. If you delegate, it comes to some trust, and you've got to give that trust.
I tell you, someone you need in today's game. I think I don't care what business. You got to have somebody that knows marketing. And marketing today is not like it was before. Marketing today is a
10
lot
years
different.
ago or 20 years ago.
Digital, hitting the algorithm, hitting it at the right time, being committed to my daughter's in it. She's like, Dad, you got to post at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. And she sets reminders on my phone. I'm like, I gotta post. And here's the thinking. People are waking up with coffee in the morning. At 7, people are done with dinner. They're winding down. They're on their phones. They're looking at stuff. Yeah. Send it then. But that's not a guaranteed science because those algorithms change all the time as to when people. Sure. I mean, think about it. You post stuff on the horse's mouth. Sometimes you're like, holy cow, look at all these views. And then you post another time, like, where'd all the views go? Like, what happened to them all? They were just there a show ago. Yeah. So I think if you have somebody that's committed, because like you said, you got all these hats, and then I got to do marketing.
It's too much.
And I got to hit it at the right time, and I don't, how do I know it's, you can do analytics checks, we do that, but, it can be very taxing.
It's a long way from calling yourself AAA Auto so you're in the first page of the phone book.
Yeah.
Right. And that was all marketing was back then.
You're right.
Nowadays, there are professionals that will put your brand where it needs to be because they know where it needs to be. Yeah. And you may not.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I've seen there's so much to unpack here, but over the last 3 to 5 years, this idea of fractional. So in the past, you had to go hire somebody full-time. Now, you don't need somebody full-time unless you need to hire somebody. So you can scale in some capacity by having somebody fractional to do what they need to do.
It's that gig economy thing, where people are just, tasking out certain elements. You just take care of this for a certain fee, and bring me back the product. And then, it's...
No, I agree. I think... the financial side's important too, letting somebody look at your P&Ls, looking, maybe you can cut expenses, maybe you're not thinking of something like that could really help you with your monthly revenue stream or your cash flow or that kind of thing. And that in marketing, I think, because most people are creative. Yeah. This is my idea. This is what I want to do. These are my workouts, or these are my pastries, or this is my recipe, or whatever it may be. But then you need somebody that can help you with those other things.
Well, from a human standpoint, passion funds drive.
Yeah.
If you're passionate, you'll drive your passion. What you're passionate for. But it doesn't cover everything.
It doesn't. Yeah.
And you've got to be
not at all.
You've got to embrace that.
And it can't be a job. It's got to be passion. You get up, go to work every day, and it's a job. Yeah. Then you need to do something else. Well, but if it's your passion, and my passion was doing construction projects and providing quality work and providing the best of the best. Yep. And through all my employees and stuff, they knew, if they went to work for me, we were going to provide a quality product. And if it took 2 hours longer, as long as we didn't have to come back, that was success.
Since 2000, I've been in business for myself for the majority of the time, maybe a couple years with Phoenix Realty where they paid me a salary. So I've always had that eat what you kill mentality. I do, right?
Yeah, you do.
Go out, you got to go out there and hunt, man. You got to, the pipelines, there are times I'll wake up and like, all right, the pipeline's a little thin, Tom. Like, we got to fill this, you don't have enough proposals out there. You don't have enough, but it's a constant thing. Again, you do have to have the passion. Because if you don't have the passion, then you're like, this is a drag. You don't want anything to be a drag. Life's too short to things to be a drag. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're going to die one day, and you don't want it to be 100%.
I've had some friends
stressed out about stuff.
I've had some friends watch me because I do a lot of 1099 work. I got one W-2 job part-time, and I said, hey, coming out of the military, you're institutionalized. You're like Shawshank Redemption. You're like red. You're just so used to asking permission. Like this is not for the faint of heart. So you got to want to do the hustle, and there's opportunity, and it can pay off a lot, but it's got to.
You got to balance.
Yeah.
You got to balance it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, and you kind of talked about Spencer. Just because you have a passion for food doesn't mean you're a restaurant manager, right?
Exactly.
But I think a lot of people have that. Like, I got a passion for X, but as I told somebody the other day, what you're doing, I think a lot of people are doing. One, I think a lot of people are doing it actually in your area where you live, and I'm not sure there's a business plan in place. So you really got to flush that out because just because you like it doesn't mean everybody wants to buy it. So
right. A guy told me an analogy about selling a product, especially a new product or a new idea or a new service. The idea is to get your product and use the restaurant or the supermarket shelf, right? Mm-hmm. The middle shelf.
I love it.
You can have the best product in the world on the middle shelf in an English-speaking nation if the product label's written in French. No one's buying it. and I always remembered that.
Yeah.
Sell it in a language your customer wants to buy it. Mm-hmm. Don't force the customer into something that you are so passionate about you're not willing to let go. Be willing to let it go. The customer will buy your product if you speak their language. Don't teach them to speak yours.
Wow.
Great point.
A lot of gold nuggets in there. Yeah, unfortunately, we got to wrap it up for Sunny Side Up this week. So, hey, guys, appreciate you being here.
Man.
Right. Thanks for all the knowledge and information and advice.
Thank you. Sunny Side Up, baby.
Sunny Side
Up. It's always
Up.
Sunny Side Up in Jayville.
There's Sunny Side Up in Jayville. Hey, folks, if you're not motivated, obviously you're not alive. So continue to watch us, follow us. Connect us on LinkedIn, other forms of social media, and we'll love to hear your feedback and tell us what you want to hear about, and maybe we'll tackle it next week. See you on the next episode of Sunny Side Up. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
My name is Todd Marshall, and I own All Dry Services of Southeast Jacksonville. We serve all of Northeast Florida. Every day our business is doing the more mundane, but yet sometimes catastrophic issues. These can be plumbing leaks, they can be sewage backups. A bathtub overflows, somebody leaves the sink running. So we have a 24/7 response. If you call us, you're going to get a live person, and you try to get out there as quick as possible so that we can minimize the damage.